Hey guys, Ben with Dissent Off-Road. Today we are going to do a full walk around of our brand new 2025 Toyota 4Runner. All right, so let's dive in. So this particular one, we started with a off-road premium trim. This is in the color Underground, came out pretty nice. So let's start from the front here. We'll work our way from the top down. So we've installed a set of Alpha RX headlights. We got these from our friends over at Yoda Force. Those installed easy and have some pretty cool features in them. We have on the grille, we just ordered a overlay for the chrome emblem. It looked pretty out of place on this vehicle, so we overlaid that in a black. We've got our brand new low profile center mount winch bumper. This thing is packed with a lot of features that you don't typically see in these low pro bumpers. So we'll kind of walk you through those. So starting at the mounting, this is direct to frame. We utilize most all of the frame mounting bolts that Toyota has provided. Some of the others we've seen out there use only a few of those bolts, which is odd. So this one mounts directly to the frame with our integrated frame stiffener, or frame horn stiffener, just as if it were a full bumper. So Toyota designed these frames for impact only. We don't feel it's safe to just simply bolt onto that for any type of recovery or winching situation. That is why we add those reinforcement plates on the side. So we've also packed in, as we see here, we've recessed the recovery points for maximum approach angles for this low pro design. With that recess, we've also integrated a high lift jack point here. So not only does that let us get our soft shackle or our D-ring in, it works as a fully functional high lift point. We've added on both sides, and this is with all of our bumpers. We're firm believers in maintaining full functionality of your winch. So we've got holes here that not only offer airflow to cool your vehicle, cool your radiator, cool your winch when you're using it, but also access to that winch, to that clutch. We've also added a few winch viewing slots. Obviously, we don't have a ton of room here to do large ones, but this is enough to see my drum while I'm spooling that winch in or out. With that, we've got our Agency 6 red winch shackle. We've got Agency 6 fair lead. I've got a come up 9.5 winch in there. This is the slim model, but this bumper will fit just about any 8 to 12.5K winches. The solos, the slims, all of those will fit right out of the box. We've also added a spot for our Baja Designs S2 Amber fog light. This would also fit a rigid fog light, but we've put Baja Designs on this truck all the way around. So as we move up into the grille, we've got Baja Designs fog light replacement kit. So this is an OEM retrofit. You remove the factory fog light, you put in 2 S2 fog lights. So now we've got a total of 6 S2 SAE fog lights on the front. Also with that, in getting access to our winch, you have to remove the factory grill support. Some manufacturers are just telling you to leave that out. It's fine. We found this grill to be very floppy without that grill support. So we typically do this on most of our bumpers on these newer platforms. We add a grill support. On this one, Baja Designs makes a mount to mount these squadrons under here, which works great if you're not doing the bumper. But as we were designing our frame or our grill stiffener, we just decided to incorporate those mounting points into the bumper itself. So that is included in these bumpers. You can mount squadrons. I believe you could even mount some of the bigger lights, the XLs, depending on your grill, and then or equivalent. So any of your favorite lights in this size, we've got holes there provided to mount those back there. And as you can see, that grill is very solid now. Moving around to this side, so obviously we've got our provisions for our logo badge, and then we also have a tab here to tie in that bumper cover at the end, just to make sure nothing's flopping around. This is compatible with the OEM skid plate or most aftermarket skid plates as well. The other thing I would like to point out on this front bumper is if you stand back and look at it, we didn't have a ton to work with as far as general shape and aesthetic. But I think we did a pretty good job. Our team designing this did a really good job of keeping it really sleek looking, but also giving it an aggressive look, so you know you've done some modifications up front. And then obviously with that, we've added a decent bit of protection to that center section. All right, so moving around to the side here. So we've gone a little bit smaller on this one as far as tires go. Toyota has made it very easy to fit a 35-inch tire. They've gone as far as actually clearancing some of these spots on the fenders so those fit. So we've gone with a 285/75 R18 Nitto Recon Grappler paired with the new Icon Recon Pro wheel. So this is their interlock wheel. And then we did that in the charcoal color. I think it came out amazing. And this wheel is their plus 40 offset 9 inches wide. For suspension, we've gone with our Icon CD-XS. This is a dual compression dampening dual speed. So you've got low speed, high speed compression dampening. We've got our knobs up under here. Right now we're probably set to about 2 inches of lift over stock. We're running the Icon billet upper control arms. We don't have them on the rear yet, but we'll be putting the billet rear lowers on as well once they come. So up on the roof, we have got a Westcott Designs roof rack. This is their super slim rack. Came out pretty clean, really love the super slim look, especially on the roof line of this 4Runner. Actually, we were pretty stoked with just the overall fit finish quality of this roof rack. Install was great, it was packaged nicely, so stoked on that. I think it looks killer. On the front, these are provided by Westcott Designs. They offer these brackets, which super solid bracket. This is for the XL Sport. 7 lights. Again, we've run that same light setup on our LX700. Love the look, love the performance, so we stuck with that on this one. Moving around to the side of the roof rack, we've got our S2 Sports. You'll see this on most all of our racks. We either run this or the rigids. On this one, we chose to go Baja Designs all the way around, and we're pretty stoked with that partnership. These are our rotating bracket. So aimable bracket, you can easily aim them up, down, out. You don't have to loosen your screws to do that. Agency 6 grab handles in red to match the Agency 6 winch shackle in the front. We've got 2 of those on each side. Then we've also added the Westcott Designs window molly panels. Don't really have anything mounted to that yet. I've got our Agency 6 shovel on the other side, but we'll figure out some things to put on there, I'm sure. So finishing off the side here, we've got our modular steel step sliders with the tread plate. This is very similar in design to our GX 550 Land Cruiser 250 slider. It is a full slider, but also functions very well as a step. Let's move around, let's show you the rear bumper. We're pretty stoked on how this one turned out. So here's our rear bumper for this platform. Again, this is very similar to the Land Cruiser, the GX, so it was actually a pretty easy transition. All the frame mounting points, everything were the same. So we just had to change the general aesthetic and lines to match. And I will say the 4Runner, the 6th Gen 4Runner, we were pleasantly surprised with how friendly this was aesthetically to come up with a design that looks killer. So this one is no exception. Honestly, a lot of this styling transitioned over from the 5th Gen 4Runner, so you'll notice we kept with a similar step up. One thing that's hard to tell is actually the factory plastics have that step in it as well. So we followed that, we stepped it up, we gained a fair bit of clearance on this chamfered corner. We've kept this line here to kind of continuation of the fender flare line. So we've got this chamfer on that, which looks pretty good. Also, this cuts a bit of weight. On the Land Cruiser 250, the GX 550, the main difference is there is just where these lines came out, the bumper doesn't step down. So with this, we lose a few pounds off of those platforms as well. Obviously, we've got our frame mount, same as the Land Cruiser 250 GX with our integrated recovery point. On this particular one, I think by now most of you guys watching kind of know how our bumpers, how our swing outs work. But let's just show you the accessories and how we have this one configured. And we also got some cool new accessories we'll get on the website soon. So this is our aluminum modular ladder. As you can see here, right now we've got our power tank air system mounted to this. There's really not a faster way to air up tires than a power tank. So that fits on there nicely. Obviously, If you want to use this as a ladder, you want to try and keep some of those steps clear. So this still fully functions. You can get up, you can climb up this ladder, access your roof, whatever you want to do up there. We've got little cutouts in here. So these little cutouts on the ladder rungs are for traction. Your shoes really bite into that well. And obviously we got holes and cutouts everywhere. So I was able to mount this directly to that step without drilling any holes, just because we got holes just about everywhere on those rungs. So inside here, we've got our recessed Rotopax mount, or whatever accessory you want to mount to that. So we've got a water can. You can't really fit a 3-gallon on there. There's just not enough room to this plastic, but you can fit a 2-gallon fuel or water can while still maintaining access to your step. And then up here, we've got another one of those panels where we've mounted our Built Right MOLLE bag. And we got some of our Agency 6 recovery gear and winch ring in there. This is not 100% waterproof. I don't believe they sell it that way. But so far, we've had this at the car wash. We've hosed it off. I've not gotten any water in there. So we've got our tire on the driver's side. We've got our Agency 6, their new recovery hitch shackle. So this is a much stronger design. So tires on the driver's side. This is just our standard tire mount with the flip up table. So we've got our combination stop, tail, turn, reverse lights with the dual swing outs. So this, I should tell you too, this bumper is compatible with or without swing arms. So you could simply put the bumper on without, you could add the swing arms later. That's the beauty of the modular design. But once you add that tire, because the rear end of this is so narrow, we're kind of blocking our tail light. So we do recommend going with the combination lamps in the rear if you're running the swing outs. Let's go ahead and show here too, we've relocated the camera. It's a little bit different than what we've seen. We were able to figure that out and get those, get that camera and that wiring relocated. So that's fully functional. Parking sensors in the bumper. Blind spot monitors you cannot see, but we've relocated those, so those are fully functional. Those brackets are included with the bumper. Let's open it up. We'll show you what we got on the inside. All right, so this is the first of its kind. We just got back from Overland Expo. Air Down Gear Up was working on the 6th Gen 4Runner stuff. They asked if they could use our rig, and we gladly accepted. So we showed up to them. They test fit. They had already installed one and basically just wanted to confirm fitment on this one. So pretty stoked with how this turned out. This is their low profile system. So it's a little shallower than you typically would have. This is a good combination for the guys that want to maintain some cargo space, don't necessarily need a fridge. But with the hybrid battery, you can see how much that steps up. So this just keeps that down, keeps your sleeper platform a bit lower. With that, they've maintained access to this cubby space. So I'll have to show you too, on my Land Cruiser, they updated the system to their full production version. The one I was running in that was a prototype, which does something similar, maintains this. So this is actually, I'm pretty stoked on this. We've got access to just the stuff we want quick. I've got my 4Runner like camp utensil kit here. I've got my camp chairs in there, first aid kit. So anything you want to get to quickly without opening your drawers, you can shove in there. Rain gear, coats, jackets, whatever. So this is the dual drawer system. We've got the slide out table. This has their new color on the cutting board, which is a red color, and then also on the pull out table. Inside the drawers, I got food, I got recovery gear, I got just about everything you would need or want to keep in the vehicle all the time. Extra winch stuff, paper towels, air down stuff. So a lot of storage in here. So yeah, pretty stoked on this setup. We've got the wings here, we've got little cubbies down inside. We've added a Kingpin 40-inch light bar here. That worked perfect on the hatch of the 4Runner, nice and straight. This tucks in perfectly whether you have the drawers or not. And then we've also added their rotary dimmer switch to that light. This is their dual function light, so this can go red or white. And then we've got our dimmer switch. So you can control that from the light itself or from this secondary switch, which is also a dimmer. So yeah, let me show you kind of how their sleeper platform works. So they've set this up Set this here for now. With the dual sleeper, I've decided to take the one side out and run the single sleeper with hopes that I'm going to put some sort of a smaller fridge here. I got to find out what actually works. But let me show you that. With the lower profile platform, even with the hybrid, it still sits above the seat. So Air Down Gear Up has made some pretty cool brackets there. I'll show you. So they made some pretty cool brackets here. So these actually just clip into the car seat strap mounts. So these are little standoffs. You can leave those in, you can take them off and stow them somewhere. But we'll show you those, just let you flip the sleeper platform and it supports right on those mounts. So that's really all there is to setting up your bed. Throw your pad down, you're ready to sleep. And we'll show you what we've done for power management for all of our lighting and accessories. So we've got the S-Pod. This is their vehicle-specific kit for the 2025 4Runner. This is actually the first time we've used a vehicle-specific kit from them, and I'm pretty stoked with how it turned out. So it comes with the panel pre-mounted to this new plastic trim piece. Simply pop out that trim piece. This pops and clips into the factory clip points. It gives you a really nice, clean, solid mount there. We'll show you under the hood. They've made it about as plug and play as possible. So they provide this bracket, so that bolts on. The Bantam controller is also pre-mounted to that bracket. You got nice little zip tie tabs for tying your wires up. And then the other thing we've done here, so we'll clean this up a little bit. This actually used our mount for the Land Cruiser 250. However, the cover is going to need to be different for our winch kit, but this does have the battery in the back because this is a hybrid. So we did still need to run our wiring under the hood for our winch. So that's what you see here. All right, so that about wraps it up of where we set on our 2025 4Runner build. We'll keep you guys updated as we add more gear to this. Hope you guys enjoyed.